Howdy, y'all. Welcome for some more reviews from Tumor Town with Bruce. One of the kind of sidebar things that happened to me when I was in lovely Hollywood that was just a heck of a lot of fun and gave me an experience that I'd always wanted to have, was meeting a guy named Peter. Peter knew my cousin Stuart and our roommate Blake from their days at Pepperdine. And he had a music store in Hollywood, selling musical instruments, that sort of thing. And we met and we hit it off. And it turned out his father was a big time commercial photographer, had a big studio over on Sunset, I think, or Fairfax, somewhere in that neck of the woods, very pricey area, but at any rate, nice big studio space. So he invited me, to come over and jam with him a couple of times. So, on the weekend we would go and sit in this big cavernous studio and we would play and muck about, musically. And we started to get more and more serious about it. And so his father basically said, you can have the loft upstairs. There was this room upstairs that nobody was using apparently at that time. So we could set up there and use that all we wanted as our little studio of operations. So I went out and, got a new drum set. Well, it was a used drum set, but a drum set nonetheless. And, a little keyboard, guitar, this and that. I had my flute, whatnot. And we started jamming upstairs at Peter's. And it was really cool because his dad's, one of his clients was Miller Beer. So the refrigerator was always full of beer. So, you couldn't argue with that, right? Go over for an afternoon, drink beer, and play music. What the heck? And it made me really, kind of, work my chops, I mean, I got to where I was a pretty decent, I will never say I was good or great, but I was a, decent drummer, decent flautist, and I could do some stuff on a keyboard and a guitar and get away with it. Particularly if you gave me time to learn it parrot fashion. I could come back and put it back out for you, And I started writing lyrics, and Peter would write the music, and we would come up with these songs. So then we decided to team together and buy a 4-track recorder, because I could get it real cheap through Pacific Stereo, through Blake. So we got this nice little 4-track Pioneer recorder with a little mixer, a couple of mics. And so we actually started recording the songs that we were making. And that was just really cool. And if you might, from my other videos, Teddy Turbo from Pacific Stereo, that was my buddy. He wanted to always be an audio guy, So he would come over and mix for us every now and again, do some stuff. And, back in the day, learning how to work with a 4-track and ping-ponging and all that, for those who are old enough to remember, that was a real trip, Sorry, the cancer, excuse me. But we did that. And that was a weekend thing we did almost every weekend for as long as I was in California. And we ended up generating an album's worth of songs. I still have them. I don't have the original recordings, unfortunately. Don't know what happened to those. Peter lost them. His dad threw them away, something. I don't know. But I still listen to them to this day with great fondness. They're not that great, obviously, but I find them very nice, to listen to myself, sing and play the flute and the drums and whatever. And it was just an experience I always wanted to have. And that I can say I have done it. I have honestly written original songs, played instruments on recordings, and mixed them and done it. We fell apart in the end because Peter got a girlfriend and got married. The old story, Sorry, it's really getting to me. So this is going to be my last video for today. I can't go much further. But, even though we fell apart in the end, Peter was a great guy. And I had a great time, playing all that music with him and having all that fun. And it was just something, again, an aspect of my time in lovely Los Angeles that I never expected, but was just a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. I ended up bringing the 4-track home with me, as well as the instruments that I bought. And I continued to make recordings for a while when I came back to Florida, which was rather interesting. And I ended up giving the 4-track to Teddy Turbo, because he collects old analog stereo gear, and he really loved having that and still has it to this very day. And it still works, and he takes loving care of it. So, glad to see that that's all still there. But and we called ourselves the Penny Dreadfuls. So that was Peter's name for us. I always thought that was a nice little name. So that was a fun thing. If somebody's ever really, really nice to me, I might be nice enough to play a piece of our songs for you. But then again, maybe not, because I certainly, don't want to be laughed at too hard, because, well, as I said, they're not that great. The technology was ancient at the time, but, I love them and I like them, and that's all that really matters. Peace, hang 10. Catch you on the next one.